Did you hear that? That silence that lasted just a little too long. This uncomfortable feeling went throughout the room because a couple of you thought I forgot my lines for a few seconds. See, that's pretty awkward. In fact, I'd say that each and every one of you has experienced an awkward moment, conversation, or situation in your lives. And you know what? That's just my theory. Let's prove it. How many of you have experienced an awkward moment? Let's be honest. Yeah, that makes sense. I think everyone here has probably fumbled a handshake, said something stupid in the conversation, or just been in a really awkward situation with someone else for too long. But it's normal, right? You know, you might feel a bit embarrassed, you might feel a bit put off, but hey, you know, you laugh about it, you forget about it, unless they're me, and then, you know, you get over it. There's a reason it's called an awkward moment. But what if the moments keep on happening? What if you keep messing up those conversations? What if you keep finding yourself in those situations? What if awkward is the first thing people think of when they think of you? Earlier I asked you, you know, how many of you have experienced an awkward moment? I think the real question I'm going to ask you now is, how many of you are awkward? It's more than I thought, honestly. I wasn't planning for this. You know, I do genuinely think that the majority of you are just, you know, trying to make me feel better. You know, the majority of you are, you know, not lying to yourselves, and you're genuinely socially competent, unlike me. But, you know, I think that's normal, because if everyone was awkward and no one would be awkward, it would be the norm, right? That makes sense. And, you know, what I'm trying to say here is that if you were all awkward, I wouldn't be up here on the stage. I myself am quite awkward, if you haven't figured that out in the last like 2 minutes. And you know, over the last few years, I've gotten more confident. I used to be much, much worse. But now I'm better. That's why I'm here. I think the biggest proof is that I'm here. And I'm here to explain to you how to solve awkwardness. So let us begin. To begin with, I think we have to look at how to, you know, let's break down the problem a bit, right? It's like any other problem. You can find roots and you solve those roots. Awkwardness has two, because of my experience I found these. They're insecurity and uncertainty. You have to solve both to solve awkwardness. So let's begin with insecurity. To understand insecurity, you have to really look at everyone, or most people, you know, who are awkward, they really fear this to the bone. They really fear social judgment. They fear it so much. You know, they don't want to be mocked in public. They don't want to be judged. They close off. Most people do this because they've suffered before. You know, they've been ridiculed before. I have. Can you tell me? They've been ridiculed before, and they close off. They don't want to talk to anybody. They want to hide, because if they stick out, they're prone to being ridiculed. They're prone to being judged. That makes sense. Right, so you think, okay, that's fine, right? They're not going to get judged. They're going to be fine. The sad irony of this is, no, they're not fine, because what ends up happening is, because they're closed off, someone's still going to try to socialize with you, because they don't get the message. They're going to still try to socialize with you, and you're going to be not saying anything, and they're going to be holding up the whole end of the conversation, and it's going to be awkward, right? And that's going to make you stick out more, so you failed. So that's one half of the issue. Now we have to look at uncertainty. Well, here's the thing about socializing. You can't learn it in school. Trust me, I've tried. You have to experience it. It's the only thing you can really do to get better at it is by socializing. So the issue with that is that you end up with a situation where you can have somebody who's really confident, right? Maybe they were insecure when they were younger for a couple of years, and they can try to get into a situation, you know, they're going to try to socialize and get into a conversation with somebody, and they have no idea what to say or do, right? Because they don't have that experience. So they're still awkward. Okay, so let's do things. You've established the problem, let's solve it. Can you solve it? I can't. No, I can solve the problem. I have a method, I have a solution, and it works. most of the time. I mean, it may work. I hope it works. It worked for me. It's really just a way of looking at life through a different perspective. You have to view life like a movie. Title drops aside. Here's how you do it. So simply, you have to look at yourself as protagonist in your own story, right? The main characters are your friends, your family, and people who are close to you. They matter the most to you, and their opinions matter the most to you. The extras in the story, the people who contribute but not so much, are the people you meet once or twice. The people who, you know, you may not care, you don't care about. Really, they're the extras, right? They can be main, you know, they can be main characters. And realistically, in a social situation, you're not really going to be awkward in front of your friends or family or people who are close to you because they're trapped, they can't leave now. You're going to be awkward in front of the extras. Yeah, you're going to be awkward in front of the extras, people you don't know. So say you've gone into a situation where you were socializing with, I guess, one of these extras. Keep in mind, they're the protagonists of their own story, and they have main characters of their own. They have their friends, their family, and you're their extra. So say you say something stupid, right? You're going to feel really embarrassed. Now the question is, are they going to care? Because you're their extra, you don't matter to them. They don't really care about you. So maybe, yeah, they'll make fun of you, maybe they'll say something, you know, mean, but they're not going to remember you. And the high chances they're not going to judge you, because that's just mean, and no one wants to be mean. So you're thinking so much about what they're going to say that you just hide away. That's, you know, that's a crux of insecurity. But maybe we can view this in a different way. Let's think about what you think of on a daily basis, okay? So let's say you spend 1/5 of the day thinking about yourself, right? Another fifth, you know, thinking about the events that have happened. You know, another one, maybe your family, your friends, what you're planning to do, what, you know, you've done the night before, that one guy you wished a happy birthday and he said you too, you know. Yeah, it's funny, right? It's funny. You're not gonna judge that guy, right? Anyone can make that mistake. It's fine. It's like reaction. But he's crushed. He's devastated. You've just ruined his day. Okay? He could be awkward, right? And you've just done something, or you've not done something. You've laughed maybe, right? And they're worrying about you judging them now, maybe mocking them, but you're not gonna do that, right? It's a small thing. It made the situation slightly awkward, but you're not gonna care. But if you switch the roles, if you're the awkward one and you're feeling bad over nothing, because they're not gonna judge you, because they don't care enough to do that. They don't really care enough about you to do that. So, well, why does this help? Why does this solve the situation? Well, think about it this way. If you could socialize without fear of judgment, because you know the other person doesn't care enough about you to judge you, wouldn't you do it? I would. I do, sometimes. And that helps. Trust me, it does. If you keep socializing, you know, you're gonna feel less judgment, and that kind of solves the insecurity bit. What about uncertainty? Well, it's based on experience, right? So if you keep socializing and you don't fear the judgment, you get better at it. And you get better at it, and better. And guess what? You're no longer awkward, because now you've learned how to do it and you don't fear judgment. So, if you could take one thing from this presentation back with you, it's that no one cares enough about the mistakes you make while socializing to judge you for them. Thank you.